turning point in a person's financial life isn't a dramatic event, a sudden windfall, or a moment of extraordinary luck, but a quiet realization that creeps in when life slows down. Wealthy people aren't born with special advantages. Most of them simply build their lives around small, steady habits that compound quietly over many years. This truth feels almost too ordinary, which is why it's so often overlooked. We grow up hearing stories about overnight success, big breaks, and life-changing opportunities, and because of that, many people wait for some external shift to change their circumstances. But the difference between those who slowly move towards stability and those who remain stuck isn't usually a big moment. It's the thousands of tiny moments where they choose clarity over distraction, learning over stagnation, and discipline over impulse. Most people search for a shortcut or a miracle solution, believing that one perfect opportunity will fix everything. Yet, what actually shapes a person's direction are the small, consistent decisions they repeat every single day, often without anyone noticing. In this video, we're going to explore how ordinary individuals adopt daily habits that gradually move them toward a stronger financial life, not through extreme sacrifices, unrealistic promises, or hype, but through practical routines, calm discipline, and a mindset that steadily reshapes their future from the inside out. People who grow financially over time usually begin their mornings with intention rather than chaos. Instead of grabbing their phone and letting the world pull them in every direction, they pause for a moment and decide what actually matters that day. This simple act doesn't make them perfect. It just gives their mind a sense of order before the noise of the world kicks in. They understand that clarity creates better decisions, and when they start their day with purpose, the rest of their choices naturally fall into place. They treat time like a valuable asset, something to be invested wisely instead of spent without thought. Because when someone respects their time, they begin to direct it toward meaningful work, learning, or personal growth instead of letting it slip away in distraction. They avoid rushing into their day without awareness. Instead, they protect their mental space so their choices come from deliberate thought, not impulse or stress. One of the habits that supports this mindset is making learning a daily part of their life. They read, listen, observe, and stay curious, not because they're trying to become experts overnight, but because they understand that ideas shape decisions. They know that the world changes fast, and staying informed keeps them adaptable and thoughtful. Learning doesn't require studying complicated financial theories. Sometimes it's as simple as listening to a thoughtful conversation, reading a few pages of a book, or paying attention to how successful people think, not copying them, but understanding the way they approach problems. Another quiet but powerful habit is paying attention to where their money goes. They don't stress over every rupee or dollar, and they don't treat money like a source of guilt. Instead, they treat it like information. Knowing their spending helps them make better choices, avoid unnecessary habits, and free up resources for things that actually add value to their life. They aren't avoiding enjoyment, they're simply choosing intentionally. They understand that financial stability is less about deprivation and more about awareness. Alongside this awareness, they practice delayed gratification, not as a form of punishment, but as a strategy. They don't eliminate small joys. They simply balance them with their long-term stability. Over time, this habit builds a sense of confidence and control that doesn't depend on how much they earn, but on how well they manage what they have. They also avoid making financial decisions during moments of stress or frustration. They recognize that emotional spending might bring temporary relief, but usually leads to long-term regret. With calm awareness, they allow emotions to settle before acting, which reduces impulsive choices and supports better outcomes. Millionaire-minded individuals also focus on daily micro-actions that slowly increase their earning potential. Many people think big achievements come from big actions, but financially steady individuals understand that small, consistent efforts compound powerfully over time. Improving a skill for 10 minutes, experimenting with a small idea, or observing opportunities within their environment may not look like much in the moment, but these little moments work quietly in the background. They treat skill building as one of the most reliable ways to increase opportunities. They understand that the modern world rewards flexibility, creativity, and the willingness to learn, so they make personal growth a regular part of their routine. At the same time, they protect their energy. They prioritize rest, maintain healthy boundaries, and avoid unnecessary conflict or draining environments. They understand that a tired or overwhelmed mind cannot make thoughtful decisions. They aren't striving for perfection. They simply respect their own well-being because they know it directly influences the quality of their judgment. Another habit that separates consistent achievers from inconsistent ones is their ability to rely on simple systems instead of emotional bursts of motivation. Rather than trying to change everything overnight, they build routines that are sustainable and realistic. They set aside something, time, effort, or attention, every day, even if it's tiny. To them, slow progress isn't failure, it's foundation. They remind themselves often that financial improvement is not about speed, but direction. This mindset helps them stay patient in a world that constantly tells people to move faster, earn more, or compare themselves to others. By staying grounded, they avoid unnecessary pressure and remain committed to steady growth. People who eventually build strong financial stability also approach their relationships with intention. They connect with people who encourage maturity, discipline, and thoughtful decision-making. They aren't looking for competition or comparison. They're looking for shared values and meaningful conversation. They spend time listening to ideas that expand their perspective, even if they don't agree with everything they hear. They understand that a single insightful conversation can shift their thinking more than years of aimless effort. Over time, these intentional relationships shape their habits, deepen their mindset, and inspire wiser decisions. Good people create good influence, and good influence nurtures good habits. Another essential habit is daily reflection. Even if it's just for a minute, they take time to think about their choices. Reflection allows them to learn from mistakes without guilt or frustration. Instead of feeling defeated when something goes wrong, they adjust gently and keep moving forward. They also practice gratitude, not as a cliche, but as a grounding tool. Gratitude shifts their focus away from comparison and impulsive spending. It reduces the desire to chase status or impress others. It builds contentment, and contentment creates clarity. A person who feels grounded tends to make smarter, calmer financial decisions. Most importantly, individuals who grow financially over the long term don't rely solely on motivation. Motivation fades, fluctuates, and disappears at the worst times. Instead, they rely on discipline. Small steps repeated even on days they don't feel inspired. They know that the goal isn't to become wealthy overnight, but to become a person who manages life with maturity, clarity, and responsibility. Their habits aren't dramatic or extreme. They're slow, steady, and deeply human. And because these habits are realistic and repeatable, they quietly reshape the direction of their life and the opportunities available to them. As we close, remember that financial growth isn't about transforming into someone else. It's about becoming a slightly better, slightly more disciplined version of yourself every day. The habits you repeat shape your mindset, and your mindset shapes your future. You don't need a massive breakthrough or perfect circumstances to move forward. You just need consistency, calm discipline, and the willingness to choose long-term stability over short-term impulse. Build your days with intention. Protect your mental clarity. Learn a little each day. Improve a little each day. And allow these quiet habits to guide you toward a future shaped not by luck, but by the strength of your daily choices.